WHIP Philadelphia. Online at whipradiotU.com and on your mobile device with iHeartRadio.
What's up, guys? I'm Andrew.
I'm Austin.
And I'm Cassie.
And you're listening to the Morning After Show only on WHIP, Philly's #1 college radio station. For those who are listening that didn't want the show to happen, it's happening, and we're coming at you live. In the studio, we have Future TU and Represent TU. Welcome, welcome, guys. How's it going?
Good. Thanks for having us.
Pretty
good. Hey, Temple.
Good morning, good morning. Yeah, Temple is listening at 10 a.m. We didn't think it was possible, but they're actually doing it.
Yeah, we think they are.
Yeah, well, apparently they are. So, that's totally okay. Enough bashing to those, and let's start the conversation. So, you guys had your debate yesterday. I actually thought it was a lot later than it was. I found out it was at 4 p.m., and I was trying to go to the debate, so I apologize for not being there. However, I heard that it was really good. It lasted, 45 minutes? I was following the Twitter feed, thinking that Temple Student Government's Twitter would be a little bit more uppity with the Twitter and updating everyone who couldn't be there. But that's totally okay. For those who were there, I'm sure they had a lot of information to digest and a lot of good stuff happening on both tickets, both platforms, which is awesome. So, thoughts, feelings, what did you guys think of the debate? How did it feel? The questions going on? How do you feel now? You're, a week into this? How does it feel?
Yeah, and this is Ryan Rinaldi representing Future TU. The debate went well. The campaign has been going very well. I know yesterday wasn't necessarily the forum to really debate. It was more so like a questionnaire kind of session where we were asked specific questions regarding Temple or our platform. But I know that Thursday night is going to be more of a debate style setting, so we're looking forward to that. But I thought yesterday's conversation was constructive. I think that the audience members got a very good opportunity to see both of us in person, not just on a computer. And to hear from both teams about their respective visions for Temple.
Well, if I may, you guys have been everywhere. I mean, when I'm not there, I was just there at Free Food from Friday, and both of you were there, and they've checked with your Twitter. And, you guys are literally doing all types of, student organizations, doing all types of, events and things like that. You're there, most likely, if it's, some sort of Temple function, which I think is pretty powerful because, you're wearing your T-shirts, you're doing things, you're making sure that you're taking pictures there, which is awesome. However, like you said, it's not enough to just show up and do things and just pretend like you care to be there, because obviously you care to be there, but you're much more than just a face. You're also someone who has an opinion, someone who has a voice. So your debate is this Thursday.
Yes. What time is it?
5 p.m.
5 p.m. at Mitten Hall.
5 p.m. Mitten Hall. What room?
The alcove.
The alcove. That's wonderful. Great acoustics in there. It's going to be a good time.
See everybody there.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. There's Thursday at 5. I'll probably be there, actually.
20,000 students in Mitten Hall. Come on, Temple.
If possible.
You
can.
Let's do it.
Well, that's the thing that I wanted to tackle next. Temple Student Government, it's a large organization. However, is the student population usually, involved with that? Obviously it's hard to involve 38,000 students to any group of organization in general. How are you guys tackling that? Both tickets. It's something that you have to do as far as involving your students. Obviously, I'm sure this question is again and again, but at the same time, it's not so much. The students have to come to us, and we come to them, and we'll do a union together, and we just like to be warm, inviting, and fun. Hey, there's a couple AL team leaders in the room, and we very well know what that means. And
Shout out to all the OTLs.
Still, they still have quarrels about Temple and quarrels about themselves and life in college in general. So, how will you guys tackle that? This is obviously a very very broad question, but it's still a very specific one as far as student involvement in 38,000 students.
Yeah. Well, first, to address the question, I think right now a lot of students don't understand that Temple Student Government is open to more than just organizational leaders. So I think the first step in tackling that is having more of a presence on social media and just advertising the fact that it's not just for student organizational leaders, but for every student to have their voice heard. a specific way that we plan on tackling that is through our student administration board. With that student administration board, we plan on grabbing people from all over campus. So the uninvolved student, people from specific colleges, any unconventional students like a transfer student, anything along those lines, we plan on grabbing those students, pulling them into a group with higher administrators as well as Temple student government administrators to have deeper conversations about their needs, their concerns, and just all that venue for transparency between administrators and students.
Yeah. We met with a lot of smaller organizations this week, and from what we heard, they don't feel like they have a voice with Temple student government. And the thing that we've been stressing the most is if we get elected, if Temple gives us the honor of electing us into office for next year, we want to have an open door policy, because we don't know the individual problem each organization is having, because we're not a part of it, and we'll be honest with that. But we want to say that if you guys have a problem, we feel free to come to our office next year if we're elected and voice your opinion. We'll sit down for you guys for as long as you need, and we'll work with the right people to fix that problem.
Good answers. And what do you guys think?
Yeah, from our
that?
end, I know that I think that you guys made a lot of great points. There are certain people on campus that just want to be involved. It's just they're too busy. They have too big of a workload. We know that. But for those people that are involved, we need to make sure that we're approachable, that we're visible for people to come up and really talk about their concerns, about their needs, because we don't necessarily understand them unless we are in their shoes. So, one thing that we're looking at, and one thing we talked about in the debate yesterday, was our plan to restructure the General Assembly meetings for student government. And we would basically be putting into place a feedback session at the end of every month where student leaders, anybody really, that wants to come and have their voice heard on certain issues can have the opportunity to come in GA and sit in front of me and my two VP candidates and the rest of our administration and ask specific questions, so that they get some concrete feedback on their issues, so that they know that their voice is being heard. It's one thing to think that we know it all. At the end of the day, we know that we don't, and their feedback is invaluable. So they come to us with an issue, we know then, one, it's an issue, and two, we can go and do something about it and work with administrators, whatever we need to do, go about that process. So that's one thing that we're looking at doing if we're elected as well, to kind of address student involvement, student feedback.
And obviously there's been a large spotlight on universities and colleges across the country as far as recently Penn State and their fiasco, Oklahoma, I think it was, do you remember the story, Carnegie Mellon? They gave out acceptance letters and they repealed 800 of them. University of Massachusetts, I think it was, they did not allow students from the Middle East to be a part of their engineering program because of obviously fears of that nature. And then, just in general, a lot of colleges and a lot of universities have had a really negative spotlight. Temple recently with Bill Cosby. How are you guys going to combat those, issues, those qualms? Obviously, we're located in North Philadelphia as well, which will always be a part of our bloodstream. There's obviously that tension. You're in a very dangerous neighborhood, quote unquote dangerous. But with all that is going on, and Temple being a large university, how are you guys going to combat that, or rather maintain our stature as an esteemed research facility?
Yeah. For the people who don't know, the Oklahoma and the Penn State have to do with Greek life, and Greek life is something pretty big on our platform to help unify it. So events like that don't happen. So everyone kind of comes together, and all the four councils come together and learn about each other, respect each other. Kind of combating different issues that may happen, we're actually trying to set and plan a place. So if any national, local, or even Temple community issue comes up, we'll already have a plan in place where people can come together, talk about it, grieve, and just kind of get together to work out the issues. And also we kind of want full transparency with the university and the students. So the students, the whispers and rumors don't go around saying, oh, did you hear what happened with this organization? Did you hear about this organization? We want to get right on that and release a statement saying, hey guys, this is what happened with this organization. This organization, we're working really hard, or working really close with the administration to get things working out, or get things to fix.
So if I may, so what you're saying is you're trying to be some sort of liaison. I mean, obviously you are the liaison between the student body and the organizations, but I don't think we've ever had something like that where, organizations would obviously report to a university if there were any big issues, but also Temple student government. That's something definitely new for sure, to reach out to the students like, hey, obviously this is a university thing, but as a student, organization, we also know, and we know it affects you. So I think that's definitely very powerful. What do you guys think?
I think there's to hit on a few points that you mentioned. One was the sexual assault, the few cases with Penn State. Sexual assault's a very sensitive issue. It's a very hot topic issue, especially in the last Temple with Bill Cosby. It's in our platform. We obviously need to take a strong stance on sexual assault. We need to keep doing things. I think the It's On Us campaign is a great start. It's a statement, saying that obviously it's on us to combat this and to do something about it. And I think we need to go the next step, and I think that we can do that in a few different ways. Collaborating with UPenn and different schools that are also in the city of Philadelphia on implementing organizations that will work with Greek Life to combat sexual assault, to go about preventing it in that way. I also think in terms of our publicity that this upcoming year is a great opportunity for the city of Philadelphia. It's 2018. Philadelphia is the best place in the world to visit. There's so many things going on, from the Pope coming to town to the new mayor getting elected to the DNC next year. There are a lot of great opportunities for Temple University to capture some national spotlight in a positive way as well. And I think that working with administrators, working with the city, and working with the city is something that we're excited to do. We're excited to hopefully jumpstart our Big Five University Council, which is an idea that the Big Five universities in the city would come together and sit at a table and talk about the common issues that we face, talk about the problems that we face, including sexual assault, including security issues, but also talking about the good things, how UPenn is doing one thing, Temple do another. But this is a charge that I think we also want to incorporate the new mayor with as he's elected. This is something that we can unify the city of Philadelphia as a college city and capitalize on some opportunities that way.
Okay, and in both your platforms, you both have a section for campus safety or security, but Temple already has the if not top 5 largest police forces in Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. Now, how do you plan on improving something that large and that abundant that you notice patrol cars, Allied Barton officers, how do you plan on improving something that large?
Well, I work in campus safety, and I work with Captain Bradley. And one of the things we do is we look at crime maps and hotspots. So things like robberies and of that nature, you look at how many times this robbery happened at 17th and Oxford, and you strategize where you put that large amount of people. So we do have a lot of people. So we strategize how many bikers are we going to put in this area, how many cops are we going to put in this area. But also one thing that we're working on that's on our platform is having a survey, because we want to make sure that students are comfortable, and we want to know where are they not comfortable at. Are there certain buildings are they not comfortable? Is it a certain area in the community they're not comfortable? And do they feel more comfortable if we put security cameras in buildings? And these are the type of questions that are asked in the survey. The survey is already formulated, and we're just ready for it to go.
And how would you distribute this survey?
One way we harp on is collaboration. We can't do anything alone. So the best way is to have the administrators, campus safety, the people that we already work with, distribute it. But also we're going to distribute it on social media. But also in GA meetings is over 300 people that come out to GA meetings. So one of the best ways is getting their feedback. We already have a large crowd coming out, so we should utilize them when they do come in. And also just sending out email blasts it's not always the best way, but we can also do tabling. I know that's one good way, by getting kids to do tabling and tell them it only takes a minute, and have them sign up for a prize or a reward if they win a little scavenger or something like that, if you know what I mean.
And one question before we go to this commercial break, just to liven up the mood in here. So obviously there is a stigma that because we're a large city that we're a very, lively crowd of lively student body. The parties, the big events happening, the underage drinking, the drugs, obviously those are very prevalent in every and any college campus. But to curb that, what are you guys doing as far as creating events, more events on campus, like Welcome Week or Spring Fling or things like that? I mean, obviously we don't have Spring Fling anymore. We have that new program. What was it called?
TU Pop-Up.
TU Pop-Up. So I'm sure this will be there for sure. But, you know, I remember when I was a freshman, I'm sure Austin can attest to this. I
was a freshman too.
When you know, there aren't that many events on campus where, you know, we know ahead of time that we can say, yeah, you know what I'm saying, like in the same vein of Welcome Week. So have you guys, I don't know if you guys have thought of expanding on that, creating events, more big events?
Yeah, I mean, this is Future TU. I think that that's the $1 million question. What happened to Spring Fling? Why can't we get it back?
I'm sure we all know why would happen.
Yeah, we know.
Rest in peace to that beautiful girl.
I think that, you know, and we're meeting with CPB tomorrow, and this will work, you know, going hand in hand with them. Collaboration is a big thing, and working with the main campus program board is a great step. That's something that TSG can do next year. But I think that, one, obviously funding's a big issue in terms of, you know, how we're going to pay for a lot of these events. But at the end of the day, I think that allocations is on the forefront of every student org's mind when they go about planning events. They need to pay for it in some manner. And we're looking at, you know, somewhat cutting back the red tape. I talked about this in the debate yesterday. But I think that making the GAF, the General Activities Fee, more accessible to organizations is definitely a great step in the direction in terms of getting funding, because it's all about the funding at the end of the day. But if we're going to have events, we need to make sure that we're going to get, you know, good turnout. I know that Main Campus Program Board has a survey out now for, you know, what they kind of want for next year's homecoming, and the feedback is minimal. People just aren't filling it out. And that's a big concern. That's part of the, you know, the problem with the survey, and that's something that we need to work with them on to make sure that they get concrete feedback to get what we want here as students, you know, happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Andrew, this represents TU over here. One thing we want to try to do is make sure students know about different events going on campus. There's a lot of events going on with our art school. Like, there's an a cappella pre-contra going on this week that not a lot of people know about. So instead of making a new event, let's strengthen the events that are already happening from students at Temple by spreading the news, saying, hey, like, there's this art event going on this Friday. Check it out. Hey, this singing group's going on, like, this Saturday. Well, come on, let's go check it out.
Actually, there's this whole week is like arts week.
Yeah.
But how many people knew about that?
Not many.
That's terrible. Like,
I think we want to work closely with the school or colleges, because of course, like, the Tyler School students know about, because it's their thing.
Yeah, and Boyer,
like,
too. Yeah,
Boyer. But let's spread to, like, the Fox School of Business, the science technology, the engineering building. Let's make sure, like, everyone on Temple knows about it.
Yeah, I think to add on to that, you want?
Oh, go ahead.
I think just, you know, both teams will know that, you know, there's constantly something going on.
Always,
you know,
yeah.
There, you know, especially during this campaign, we're always somewhere doing something with an organization that is having some type of event, and that's the awesome part of going to a big school like this, is that there is always something to do. It's just a matter of knowing about it. I agree. Communication needs to be a little bit more prevalent.
Right,
Yeah.
but to be more specific, how do we hone in that communication? What, like, method, what sort of, you know, way do you communicate to the students? It's not enough to just say, oh, you know, there are a lot of stuff on campus, you know, look around. Okay, how do I look around? Where do I go? You know, yeah, email blast, like you said, they're not that effective. You know, filling out or giving out surveys, okay, that's wonderful, but where will you be giving them out?
Bad segue, but since we're talking about weak points in people's careers, I want to hear your opinions on each other's campaign. So, Future, what do you think of Represent's campaign, and what do you think their weak points are for their campaign, and vice versa, right after him?
I think that Tyler, Leah, and Amber and the rest of their team are very respectable. I think that they have a deep passion for Temple University, and that should not be discounted in any sense. Amber and Leah are both in TSG. They've both given back to Temple in some fashion, and that deserves to be commended. I think that at the end of the day, you know, we, as Future TU, we believe strongly in our platform. We think that our platform is very original, and we know that everything on our platform is feasible. It's realistic. It's been vetted by administrators. When it comes to taking stances on security, we've met with administrators. We've met with Captain Bradley. We've met with Trella Leone. I think at the end of the day, it just comes down to feasibility.
Okay, so you're implying that their campaign is a little far-fetched in a way.
Well, maybe not far-fetched, but maybe more so either there aren't a lot of changing factors to it, or you feel as though it's more or less just a carryover of what has already been set.
I think that it's not far-fetched. I wouldn't say far-fetched. I would say that it somewhat is a continuation of what we're doing. I think when it comes to celebrating diversity, when it comes to taking a stance on security, when it comes to taking a stance on sexual assault, and other initiatives like the TU mentorship program that we have on our campaign, the Big Five University Council, we have ideas that are original, that are new, and something that we think is part of our platform. We have the 3 pillars of our campaign. We have serving the student body, we have uniting and building for the future. And you need to take all 3 of those into consideration when you go to vote at the end of the month, because we're not just about the first pillar. We're not just about serving the student body. We're about uniting the communities as well and putting ourselves in the opportunity to capitalize on the future.
And represent to you, same question.
Well, just like Ryan very well articulated, we're both very passionate tickets, and I think we both feel equally about Temple University in the sense that we love this university with our heart and soul. I often like to say at our organizational meetings that when I think about how much I love this university and when I think about the possibility of representing this university, representing the student body, I oftentimes get emotional about it. This school has brought me a lot more than I can ever repay it. So this is the best way for us to repay this school for everything that we've done. Aaliyah and I, as well as Tyler, have a lot of experience. Aaliyah and I more on the TSG end of things, and Tyler, obviously, just through our leaders, has gotten to know a lot of administrators. So when it comes to our specific platform, just to quickly touch on the feasibility of it, again, we don't know how many times we should say it, but we've met with all the right administrators to make sure that everything on our platform is feasible, realistic. I do agree in the sense that it is a continuation from last year, because we feel that this past year was the most successful administration that TSG has seen in a very long time. In the sense of new things coming up on our platform, we have things such as the Home Field Advantage Committee, the Student Administration Board. A lot of things on our platform are new, and the most of all, we like to say we're not limited by our platform. That is not the only thing that we go to organizations to present. We don't like to present or talk at organizations. We like to get their initial feedback, hear what their concerns are, because we like to put things into action and not wait for the campaign to be over, but rather start right during the campaign. We've started with a few different things, and as soon as we got student feedback, we've taken action. We are not going to wait until we're in office. We're going to make things happen.
And if I may
yes.
just interject, to get back to the question, however, do you feel that, to be more specific, do you feel that Future TU's platform might be a little bit too forward as far as, there is some sort of safety net, if you will, for maintaining things and continuing, what has already been set, what has already worked for the past couple of years, which, can be a brilliant way to obviously represent your ticket. Do you feel that maybe Future TU's plans are a little bit too new and have sticking value?
Talking about Future TU's platform, what I feel as though is like their weakness is the fact that they have not been in Temple student government. A lot of things on their platform already exist, and it's hard to know that if you haven't been involved and haven't been on Temple student government. Another thing is,
off of that, what Aaliyah said, like stuff already existing. For example, their student task force. Aaliyah and Amber are already on Temple student government. That already exists here at Temple, if students know about it or not. Another thing, the TU mentorship program. That's basically Big Brothers Big Sisters. I was a part of it last year, and I know how they struggle with getting people to get involved with that. So instead of making a total new program, why not just improve the existing program, which we plan to do to help Big Brothers Big Sisters out?
And obviously a sense of maintaining is great, and challenging future plans are great, but let's talk about the future. We're going to go back over to Future TU, and I want to talk more about your student mentorship, or is it student mentorship program?
Yeah.
When you're advertising that to a student, why would a student want to do that as opposed, because you're helping with surrounding Philadelphia schools, if I read that correctly. Why would a student want to do that as opposed to Jumpstart, which is already a very popular program here at Temple?
Sure, that's a fair question. Before I get to that, if you don't mind, I would like to kind of answer some of the questions that were brought up by TU. One, anybody that's currently in TSG knows that you don't need to be in TSG to run for student government. Tyler is a good example of that on your team. Secondly, I think that in terms of our platform being too forward, there is never a business out there that never continues or never stops innovating. Yes, this last year was very successful. Ray and his administration has done a great job. But you never, ever, ever stop trying to get better. And that's the idea of our platform. That's the idea of building for the future. That's why we have these new programs. To speak to the Owl Watch, which is the security task force, that is not currently in place. It existed in the past. It does not currently exist anymore. We've met with Charlie Leone. We've discussed that. And we're looking forward to bringing that back. To answer your question about mentorship, the idea behind that is really getting involved with the community. Philadelphia is the public university of the city. Our Temple is the public university of the Philadelphia. And we need to have a more active role within the school district of Philadelphia. I think that we do this through this mentorship program. I think it's a start. We've met with Brittany Boston, our VP of Services, our candidate for VP of Services, is currently a big sister. She's in the program. They have challenges that they need to overcome in Big Brothers and Big Sisters with the school district of Philadelphia. TSG can help with that. But currently, I think that why would people want to get involved? One, it's to give back. That's why everybody in this room is trying to give back to Temple University. It's giving back to the area that has provided us with so much opportunity. And we need, as the public university of Philadelphia, to help the high school and the students that are going through high school here in the city of Philadelphia. And we need to give back to them, serve as a good role model to build the foundation for student organizations. It's not just a mentorship program. It's much, much more than that. It's, like I said, building the foundation for student organizations. A lot of these schools don't have after-school activities. That's something that we need to work with. And that's something that you have to work with the city, too.
Mm-hmm. So to further clarify, this is more of an organization's kind of like you guys are setting the initiative, correct?
Yeah, correct. Hey guys, this is Tom Miver from Future TU. Our mentorship program is really something that we're pretty proud of. And just to get into a little bit of specifics, you're asking what, how are we going to motivate students to get involved with this? I was really fortunate to have the opportunity to help with a new sort of mentorship program at Temple called Kidonomics that started last year in the spring. It was we brought students from schools around Philadelphia in, and we helped them. We did a bunch of different seminars with them. These were middle school and high school kids. We taught them, how to write a resume, how to brand themselves, taught them about financial literacy. And these kids absolutely loved it, but one of the things that really surprised me going in was how much I loved getting the chance to participate and help these kids. And so I really think if we are able to get Temple students out there at least one time helping students from around the Philadelphia community, it's going to really resonate with them. And then, we're going to be able to build a platform with which we can, continue to help, the local community.
That's awesome. Honestly, I think that's a brilliant thing for sure. And going to represent to you, so you guys have a couple new initiatives that you guys are bringing in. You guys have, if I read correctly, the trash
Extra
thing.
trash.
Yes, and you also have the bike program, I believe. Are there any other initiatives you guys would like to talk about? Any new ideas? Obviously, for lack of a better term, criticism. I don't want to say criticism, but the phrase that has been tossed around with your platform is obviously maintaining and building off of what has already been set and making it better, like Tyler said. what are your guys' initiatives, your guys' new programs that you guys would like to push forward, and just talk about them a little bit?
Well, one initiative that since we're on like getting the community involved and making sure that we reach out to them is community experience. One thing as a director of local community affairs, a lot of students come to me and they don't know where to go when they want to do community service when it comes to North Philadelphia. So what community experience would give them is direct schools, direct organizations that are a part of North Philadelphia that they can go to and do community service with. And because of the latest incident with at Penn State with Sandusky, a lot of the process for doing things with children has become very much longer and more strict. By having these direct schools and organizations that you can go to, it gets rid of the red tape and allows students to just be able to get involved. But the best thing about the community experience is that it's a different type of mentorship. So it's not just with children, but it's also with adults. So you can have a law forum, you can talk about the new laws that are being created and have North Philadelphia and Temple students talk about it and converse about what they think about that. You can have dance forums by teaching children how to dance, or even teaching adults how to dance, doing ballroom, hip-hop. So it just opens it up and widens the horizon. So it's not just about, since we already do have mentorship programs here, we want to make sure that we allow students to be able to do stuff that's underneath their organization already.
And off of that, we want to get Temple's organizations involved. So say if we have a dance workshop, we'll get the Ballroom Dance Club or one of the hip hop dance crew just come out and say hey guys, can you help out with this? Get people involved, different organizations, to empower them and strengthen them.
I guess we can talk about extra trash day as well, since that's a new initiative.
So one of the biggest things I deal with is trash. So when I go to a lot of North Philadelphia committee meetings, and the biggest thing they talk about is trash. They feel disrespected by how much trash is left around because of students. And the problem is that there's about 3 to 7 students that are in one place because the landlord never think about how the students are going to accumulate trash with it being so many students. So one thing is the students may put out trash and they'll get fined for it, because in Pennsylvania, if you put out your trash too early, you'll get fined. But the second thing, if you put out your trash too early, either the cats and dogs will come and rip it up, and it goes all throughout the block. So one way that we want to do this is by having an extra trash day. So many universities already have the extra trash day. Why doesn't Temple? So one thing we did, we met with Dean Ives and we met with Director of Grounds and Sustainability, Kathleen Grady, and they are all for it. The only thing we need to do is make sure that we have the students behind us. We already know what the steps are to get this extra trash day, and it's very much feasible, and we know that we're able to do it.
Ryan, go ahead.
Yeah.
Ryan has to say something from TV Future to you.
Yeah. To comment on that, and I said something about this in the debate yesterday, and if we need to, we'll discuss it again in next debate. But just from a very far back standpoint, it is impossible to me how Temple students will be entitled to another trash day in the city of Philadelphia, where the trash workers are unionized, where they would come here on even if they came up for 2 hours, say, and they came and cleaned up the Temple University trash. How is that going to look on the community? Who's going to pay for it? Not the city of Philadelphia. And it doesn't really. I think that it's one thing to have administrative support. It's another thing to have the union support. If they come up here for 2 hours, these workers come up here for 2 hours to clean up our trash, something that we should already be doing regardless. They're going to get paid for a full day. Mm-hmm. It's in their contract. Mm-hmm. It's just not gonna. I'm sorry. It's just not gonna happen.
And Amber, you had something to say. Amber from Represent TU. Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Give us your shot.
Again, like we've said time and time again, we've talked to the proper administrators about the feasibility of this. It is possible. To add to it, other schools in the Philadelphia area, such as Drexel, such as UPenn, have these days. Not only do they have these days, they have specific programs that don't deal with just trash, but they deal with trash, campus safety, all of that. It's the whole 9. And so essentially, Temple University, that's in the works of something that they want to create for us. We've tried it before, but unfortunately, due to some landlord issues, it wasn't able to happen. So now we just want to focus it to trash, since that is a huge deterrence for the relationship between North Philadelphia and Temple University. And so we talked about the feasibility. We know how to get the money. We know who to go to get the money from, and it's definitely feasible for Temple University.
Yeah, going off of Amber, I don't know. So I'm from North Philadelphia, and like I said, I go to committee meetings. We already have North Philadelphia on because they know this is something that is serious and is a problem. I don't think Temple, it's not that students should be entitled to it. It's the problem. There's so many students living off campus and are residing with residents. So if anyone should be entitled to it, it should be the North Philadelphia community because there's so many overflowing students within it. Another thing is, like we said before, this program already did exist at Temple University. The only thing fell through was the landlords. We now, working with Campus Safety, we already have the direct list of who are landlords and who are not landlords. Temple University are already ready to put up the money. They forefronted most of the money when we first had it, and they're willing to do it again. All we need is student support, and we're ready to go.
Awesome. All right. Well, we have to go to commercial break, but before we do, I know Ryan has to leave to go to class. So, Ryan, any last things you would like to say?
Yeah, absolutely. My two teammates, Tom Montalbano and Tyke James, will be here to carry out the rest of the discussion.
Absolutely.
But I think that you've heard a lot of great feedback today. You've heard a lot of answers to a lot of questions that I think are on a lot of people's minds. I encourage you all to look at our platforms. The issues that we've talked about today are very important to us. We invite you to check out our website, futuretu.com, and read more about that there. What you heard today was just literally the tip of the iceberg in terms of our platform. We're very excited about it. We're very passionate, and we believe in its originality and its feasibility.
And we also urge our listeners to read the platforms, not just to get yourself well-read and so you can elect, but also so you have questions. Like Austin and I have both read their platforms, and it isn't enough for us to just sit here and be like, okay, that's enough. We're talking, we're asking questions. So we also recommend that you write down some questions so that by the time your debate is Thursday?
Thursday night. Yeah.
Right. At the alcove, raise your hand and start asking, because these people need to, we're all here and defending our ticket and talking about our ticket, right? So we're all about questions, right? We're all about clarification. We're about, what can we do to better Temple and maintain Temple and all that good jazz. So, with that being said, Ryan, thank you so much for being in the studio.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Like we said before, Future TU is still in the studio, regardless of Ryan going to class. Class is first, right? We're paying thousands of dollars to be here. Anyways, so with that being said, we're going to go to commercial, and we'll be right back. Represent TU and Future TU are going to give their maybe a minute, 2-minute little spiel on what is next. What is the next step? Not necessarily the debate, but what is next in your campaign? Now that you've had a week and both Future TU and Represent TU, have witnessed things and have experienced what it means to be part of an election. Obviously your perceptions change before you actually start campaigning and during. So we're going to start with Represent TU. You have a minute and a half to talk about what is next. Not necessarily event-wise, but conceptually speaking, what are you guys going to do to wrap up your election?
Well, in terms of wrapping up the election, I think we've said it time and time again that we're all about action, so we don't like to wait until we're in office, if we even get elected into office. These are things that we like to take action on now. We've had phone calls with people, personal conversations with people who are just in need of either really small things or really big things. And, we've taken that feedback and we've already taken action on these things. And I guess that's one thing that we like to say about our ticket is we're not about all, saying everything and waiting until we get in office to make it happen. We're about action and making things happen right now. And a huge part of what we want to bring back to Temple University is the culture. Time and time again, when we talk to organizations, they talk about how they feel like the culture of the university is lost. I came here for the diversity. I came here for when Leah Course Walk used to have a DJ on it, scratching them beats and making it fun. That's what we came here for. I think that we need to bring that back to this university.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and guys, just keep following us throughout the week. We want to thank you all for your support. We got a lot of surprises coming this week, so just keep the lookout.
Yep. Yeah, as I said, we got surprises coming up. Remember to follow us on Twitter, representTU_TSG, and that's the same as Instagram. And always check out our website, www.representTUTSG.com.
Awesome. And Future TU, any last words?
Yes.
What is next? What is the next step?
So this is Tom and Tyke standing in for Ryan. Had to run to class, but we wanted to start off first by just, thanking everyone who's been listening to the show for taking the time to hear both tickets. We want to thank everyone that we've spoken to over the last week and a half, all the orgs we've gotten to visit, all the feedback we've gotten. It's really been tremendous, and, it's helping us learn more and more about the specific needs of every different organization. Now, in terms of moving forward, what's next? We're going to continue to be out there talking to you guys. We have so many, scheduled meetings with organizations, but even, if you don't have anything scheduled, please reach out to us. I'm sure we'll be reaching out to you as well. We really want to get in front of as many people as possible to learn your concerns, to learn, what you want from Temple Student Government. We really encourage you to check out our website, check out our platform, check out both platforms, find what you think's best for you and your organization. And we're going to be out there. We're going to be out on the Course Walk. We're going to be, walking around different buildings. We're going to be talking to you guys and really just trying to encourage everyone to vote. I think probably one of the most important things both tickets can agree on is we really want, a strong voting turnout for this election. I think that was one of the big goals. Taiki?
Absolutely. Just to finish up on that, voting was like 8% last year, and we have a goal to up that.
That's serious.
We want to get it to double digits. Let's just say we want to get it to double digits.
No, absolutely.
It's going to take, TSG is currently working on a lot of things to get the vote out. And I think that the popularity of both of the tickets definitely helps with, just people's awareness to the current election. I hope for a good turnout. So far, it's been a really great race, and, meeting with everyone and talking with everyone has just been wonderful.
Yeah. Sure, your vote is a vote for the future.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Here at Temple University, WHIP, the morning after show, we are representing the future. So, with that being said, thank you so much for listening. Be sure to show up at the Alcove and listen in. It's this Thursday at 7 p.m.? 5 p.m. 5 p.m. Alcove. Be there. It's crazy stuff is going to happen. Not necessarily, nothing crazy. It's just a lot of regurgitation of what you already heard and so much more. This is going to be the second debate, last debate. So make sure you come in, show your support, and also get involved. Thank you so much for listening. This morning after show, we will be back next Tuesday at 10 a.m. on a slightly less note. We'll be talking about things like Beyonce and Iggy Azalea, probably, and like feces.
I can't
Whatever. Such is life. Have a great Tuesday morning. Actually, no, we'll be back this Thursday. I feel like today's Thursday or something. Yeah, no, we're coming back this Thursday. Gosh, what is wrong with me? Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you this Thursday at 10 a.m.